Turn to Psalm 22. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me, and from and from the words of my roaring? O my God, I cry in the daytime, but thou hearest not, and in the night season, and am not silent. But thou art holy, O thou that inhabitest the praises of Israel. Our fathers trusted in thee. They trusted, and thou didst deliver them. They cried unto thee, and were delivered. They trusted in thee, and were not confounded. But I am a worm, and no man, a reproach of men, and despised of the people. All they that see me laugh me to scorn. They shoot out the lip, they shake the head, saying, He trusted on the Lord that he would deliver him. Let him deliver him, seeing he delighted in him. But thou art he that took me out of the womb. Thou didst make me hope when I was upon my mother's breast, and I was cast upon thee from the womb. Thou art my God from my mother's belly. Be not far from me, for trouble is near, and there is none to help. Many bulls have compassed me. Strong bulls of Bashan have beset me around. They gaped upon me with their mouths as a ravening and a roaring lion. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax, it is melted in the midst of my bowels. My strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue cleaveth to my jaws. And thou hast brought me into the dust of death. For dogs have compassed me, but the assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet. I may tell all my bones, and they look and stare upon me. They part my garments among them, and cast lots upon my vesture. But be not thou far from me, O Lord. O my strength, hast thee to help me. Deliver my soul from the sword, my darling from the power of the dog. Save me from the lion's mouth, for thou hast heard me from the horns of the unicorns. I will declare thy name unto my brethren. In the midst of the congregation will I praise thee. Ye that fear the Lord, praise him. All ye the seed of Jacob, glorify him and fear him. All ye the seed of Israel. For he hath not despised nor abhorred the affliction of the afflicted, neither hath he hid his face from him. But when he cried unto him, he heard. My praise shall be of thee in the great congregation. I will pay my vows before them that fear him. The meek shall eat and be satisfied. They shall praise the Lord that seek him. Your heart shall live forever. All the ends of the world shall remember and turn unto the Lord, and all the kindreds of the nations shall worship before thee. For the kingdom is the Lord's, and he is the governor among the nations. All that they be fat upon the earth shall eat and worship. All they that go down to the dust shall bow before him, and none can keep alive his own soul. A seed shall serve him. It shall be accounted to the Lord for a generation. They shall come and shall declare his righteousness unto a people that shall be born, and he hath done this. So 600 years before Jesus physically came and died on the cross, this was a psalm written by David. We think of songs today, by artists who write because of a personal experience of something that they've went through. Some are given songs by others who went through a personal experience, and either way they tell a story. We hear the pain and joy of something that has happened to someone in the message of their song, and it's and sometimes you can kind of gloss over it, but if you listen to the words, a lot of times you get that message. Some messages are more obscure than others. However, David wrote of a time when Messiah would come and no one would appreciate him. No one would he wrote of a time when Christ would be slain because of who he is. This was not an artistic expression of David and his experiences. This was a prophetic word from God that was to take place, and salvation would come from this, as he calls, a worm of a man. You can feel God's heart in this psalm. That, when you read through this, and you can appreciate the prophetic message in it. God's hurting over this. This is something that's going to happen. That's going to be a massive a pain. So when we look at it lays it out perfectly, the walk that Christ had to take. And it goes through. It talks about everything that happened, everything that was prophesied came to be in this psalm. And sometimes you kind of wish you heard the accompaniment behind these songs, because it's just that much that's speaking to your heart. But it also kind of, I thought it was neat, because these are psalms, these are individual psalms that were put together, but it's followed by the 23rd psalm. And I'd heard someone doing a study on the 23rd psalm, and I've read it before, and I'm going to read it now. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of the righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. In the study that I listened to, and I never thought of it this way, there was I believe it's in Jordan presently, a valley where they entombed dead kings, kings that had passed away, and they were talking about how symbolic this was of going through that valley of death, and the Lord providing for his chosen, for his people. He was going to prepare you a table in the midst of all these powers and principalities, and he's going to provide a provision for you. He is going to bring you through all this, and I don't normally name or put a name on what I'm speaking. But I just the whole prophetic aspect of that psalm just kind of led me to name it the concert of God's omniscience. Going on, the Israelite people were looking for a powerful, a militant Messiah who would come to power and set up his kingdom, in Israel, and would reign over all these people who had come against the Israelis. He would come and exercise total control, defeat all of those who dare attack his children. They have always looked for a physical, like a physical salvation, someone to come and set up a kingdom. That's why there is so much weight behind this psalm in particular that was given to David by God. It does not speak to this outwardly powerful ruler who will come to save his people from bullies, famines, and all the like. It does share an account of what actually will happen. God's wisdom, which is not bound by time, shines forth in that psalm. And you got to understand, if you have a song on your heart, you've got a song that's supposed to be uplifting, and then this is what David's singing, about this person who's going to come and he's going to be spat upon, going to be, laughed at, and the shame, and that's not what we think of as a hero story. We don't think of a king coming in and getting disrespected, and we like to see someone come in and get behind them, and really uplift them. But But this person just doesn't sound kingly at all, that he's singing about. And this is someone that's supposed to come in and they didn't see it. The people of Israel did not see it. And they would sing this song, and they still hoped for that person that would come in and set up a physical kingdom. Let's turn to Isaiah chapter 46. Bel boweth down, Nebo stoopeth. Their idols were upon the beasts and upon the cattle. Your carriages were heavy loaden. They are a burden to the weary beast. They stoop and bow down together. They could not deliver the burden, but themselves are gone into captivity. Hearken unto me, O house of Jacob, and all the remnant of the house of Israel, which are born by me from the belly, which are carried from the womb. And even to your old age I am he, and even to hoar hairs or gray hairs will I carry you. I have made and I will bear. Even I will carry and I will deliver you. To whom will ye liken me, and make me equal, and compare me, that we may be alike? They lavish gold out of the bag, and weigh silver in the balance, and hire a goldsmith, and he maketh it a god. And they fall down, yea, they worship. They bear him upon the shoulder, and they carry him, and set him in his place, and he standeth. From his place he shall not remove, yea, one shall cry unto him, yet can he not answer, nor save him out of his trouble. Remember this, and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. Remember the former things of old, for I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none like me. Declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, My counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Calling a ravenous bird from the east, the man that executeth my counsel from a far country, yea, I have spoken it, I will also bring it to pass. I have purposed it, I will also do it. And we kind of mentioned this morning. His word, we can stand on it because it's not changing. It's a standard that he has set forth. This is something that represents God. He's never changing. Unlike everything else in this world, that can one week you can have so many deaths predicted of this virus, and the next week it shifts to this, and the next week it shifts to it's shifting sand. All of it's shifting sand. But this is the one foundational, the cornerstone that we can base our everything that we do off of. This is something that will not change. It is everlasting. God, speaking through Isaiah, tells us once again that He has brought us out of the womb and will be with us until we are old. He knows the end from the beginning. So we see these things. And some people kind of get a little carried away with God's omniscience, all-knowing. He knows what's going to happen before it happens. He prophesied this, He prophesied that. It all came to pass. But some people get carried away, and they like to say, well, if God knows everything, and He knows all these things that are going to come upon the earth, He knows all these things, and some people try to take it in like a predestination type, path. And I think that the one good argument against that, is that takes away free will. That takes away our free will. We have a choice in this. We actually have a very big responsibility to ourselves and the ones around us that look to us, and we look to others, that we have a choice. Are we going to set aside ourselves to God's will, or are we going to do our own thing? We're going to do what we feel like doing. So it's a free choice. It's a free will thing of what we have. Let's go to Isaiah 45, just back a chapter. Thus saith the Lord to His anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have holden to subdue nations before him, And I will loose the loins of kings to open before him the two-leaved gates, and the gates shall not be shut. I will go before thee, and I will make crooked places straight. I will break in pieces the gates of brass, and cut in sunder the bars of iron. And I will give thee the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I, the Lord, which call thee by thy name, am the God of Israel. For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee. Though thou hast not known me, I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me, that they may know us the rising of the sun and from the west, that there is none beside me. I am the Lord, and there is none else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Drop down, ye heavens, from above, and let the skies pour down righteousness. Let the earth open, and let them bring forth salvation, and let righteousness spring up together. I, the Lord, have created it. Woe unto him that striveth with his Maker. Let the potsherds strive with the potsherds of the earth. Shall the clay say to him that fashioneth it, What makest thou, or thy work? He hath no hands. Woe unto him that saith unto his father, What begettest thou? Or to the woman who hast thou brought forth? Thus saith the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, and his Maker, Ask me of things to come concerning my sons, and concerning the work of my hands command ye me. I have made the earth, and created a man upon it. Even my hands have stretched out the heavens, and all the host have I commanded. I have raised him up in righteousness, and I will direct all his ways. He shall build my city, and he shall let go my captives. Not for price, not reward, saith the Lord of hosts. Thus saith the Lord, the labor of Egypt and merchandise of Ethiopia and the Sabaeans, men of stature, shall come over unto thee, and they shall be thine. They shall come after thee, and change they shall come over, and they shall fall down unto thee. They shall make supplication unto thee, saying, Surely God is in thee, and there is none else. There is no God. Verily thou art a God that hidest thyself, O God of Israel, the Savior. They shall be ashamed and also confounded, all of them. They shall go to confusion together that are makers of idols. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. For thus saith the Lord that created the heavens, God himself that formed the earth and made it. He hath established it. He hath created it not in vain. He formed it to be inhabited. I am the Lord, and there is none else. I have not spoken in secret in a dark place of the earth. I have said not unto the seed of Jacob, Seek ye me in vain. I, the Lord, speak righteousness. I declare things that are right. Assemble yourselves and come, draw near together. Ye that are escaped of the nations, they have no knowledge that are set up the wood of their graven image, and pray unto a God that cannot save. Tell ye, and bring them near, let them take counsel together, who hath declared this from ancient time, who hath told it from that time. Have not I the Lord? And there is no God else beside me. A just God and a Savior, there is none beside me. Look unto me, and be ye saved, all the ends of the earth, for I am God, and there is none else. I have sworn by myself, the word is gone out of my mouth in righteousness, and shall not return. That unto me every knee shall bow, every tongue shall swear. Surely shall one say, In the Lord I have righteousness and strength. Even to him shall men come, and all that are incensed against him shall be ashamed. In the Lord shall all the seed of Israel be justified, and shall glory. So, several times throughout this passage, there is none like me. there is none like me. Have I not told you what's coming? Have I not showed you what is going to come upon the earth? And this is a passage where he's using Cyrus, who is, the king of Persia, while the people of Israel are in captivity. He's allowing them to go back, and he's saying, I'm going to use Cyrus to go forth. I'm going to conquer these enemies before you. I'm going to show them that who I am, and this is going to be an example to these people around in these other nations. So again, God has shown us in time after time that He has a plan and knows from the beginning what is going to happen, because it is in His Word, and it is never changing. So in Acts chapter 10, verse 34, then Peter opened his mouth and said, of a truth, I perceive that God is no respecter of persons, but in every nation he that feareth him and worketh righteous is accepted with him. So no one is elevated. No one gets a free pass. No one gets a free pass into His kingdom. This is something that is a personal thing. This is not. He respects not person, but free will and the decision that you have to follow Him. So, but in every nation he that feareth Him and worketh righteousness is accepted with Him. So, we going back to the predestination type thing, that would elevate certain people, to a status, to a given status, that would elevate, this person has to work harder than this person, and it kind of gives like a almost like a caste system, of things. But this is why he says, then Peter opened his mouth and said, of a truth I perceive that God is no respecter of persons. So this kind of brings me to this illustration that it was on my mind this past week, because of all the calamity and all the chaos and everything that's going on. You have all sectors of our current society that's affected by this worldwide virus. You have things that you've never seen before in your life taking place every day. You see these things, these numbers that we can't even comprehend because they're so large. Well, there's so much in debt over here, and there's so many of this death over here. There's so many infected here, and we get these numbers thrown out on a daily basis, and we try to comprehend that. But in all that panic and fear and all that, God is still on the throne, and He's still in control. This is not taking Him by surprise, and may, as we've talked before, it's a judgment against how we've been living, and these idols that we have lifted up, have been taken down because there's no sports to watch. You can find some with empty stadiums. They're trying, I guess, but it's like all these things that we've been lifting up, especially in this country, have been just taken down. You can't go to see a movie because they've got all the theaters closed. It's forcing people to stay inside and try to spend time with their family, and I see that as the devil's been trying to destroy the family unit. He's been trying to tear families apart for the longest time, and I see that as God's like, we're going to solidify this unit here. We need to solidify this. This is another opportunity that He has given to us, to refocus what we need to be looking at here. What do we need to be focusing on here? And we can turn off the 24/7 news channels, and they're trying to get eyeballs on them. They're trying to, every 10 minutes, the breaking news. But this brings me to an illustration that I'd kind of been seeing in my mind. And if you ever been to a concert hall, have you ever been to a concert hall? Okay, when everyone's warming up, you're sitting out there and it's before the concert. It sounds like chaos back there. It's like, you can hear everybody warming up, doing their scales, doing whatever they're doing, getting ready. And then, so if you imagine that, imagine an orchestra, they're getting warmed up, and that's what they're doing. They're doing whatever they want to do on their own. So you imagine the conductor walks up to the podium, sorry. He walks up to the podium. As soon as he raises that baton, silence. Order starts right there. So imagine an orchestra. You play a trumpet. You know your part. You know your arrangement. You know that you have to play. You know when to play. You know when to rest. So you mark your time by watching that conductor. Your eyes have to be on the conductor. If not, you'll be out of sync with everybody else. You won't come in at the right time. You won't take the rest you need to. So you don't know what the tuba is doing over there. You have no clue what the violins are doing. You're focused on your part. You've got your part in front of you. You're focused on that. So you know your part as it comes up, and the conductor cues you. And it's amazing because all this going on, and he's standing up there, but he's got it all together because he knows everybody's part. He knows everybody's part. Together you have a beautiful song, that you're only a part of. However, the conductor knows all the parts. He has to, because he has to cue those parts to come in. So he keeps the time. He cues each part to come in when they are to play. So if you imagine, and this is a picture, and it's what I always loved about, reading the words of Jesus. He likes to use a lot of pictures, a lot of things that in that society they were used to seeing. Just like the Galilean wedding. That was a picture that he used. So if you picture this orchestra, the conductor is all knowing. He knows all the parts. He knows whenever that's supposed to come in, how loud this person's supposed to be. He knows it. So when you're playing and you come in and you're loud, he will push you back. If he comes in and he wants more, come on. He brings it forth. It's like this is the control that he has. And we got to think of God that way. He's got all the control. He knows everybody's position. He knows where you're supposed to be. But if you throw in marching band, because I was in both, so I know both levels here. So when in marching band, you have all the concert band going on. You have all that same stuff going on, but you're moving. So you are only one point in that field. You're one spot in that field. And the only way that you can gauge where you're at is the peripheral vision. Thank you. So you're constantly looking directly around you. You have no bearing of whoever's doing what on the other side of the field, but your focus is still on that conductor, because that conductor keeps the time. He tells you when you come in, when your part is there, what you're supposed to do. Take your eyes off of him, you can get people hurt. So so one person can see all that's going on this field, and he knows who is out of place just a hair. He knows who is in perfect alignment. He knows where you're at. So the image that's made up by the total combined band is an amazing thing as it moves, and it's almost like, the choreography of a lot of these marching band shows, it has to be precise, because if it's not, and I've been in a few that the person was just out of place, and it's no fun, it didn't happen to me personally, but it's no fun playing a trombone with a flag twirler right there, and they hit the trombone and bust your lip, you know. And I had that happen to a friend, you know, and at Vanderbilt. So, you know, that's no fun. But this, as it moves and it morphs into what the conductor has planned it to be, because he plans everything. He plans the whole show. So if we look at God as the conductor, he knows where we are in the midst of this world. He knows if we're out of place. He knows when to nudge us, when to, okay, you know, you're lagging behind here. You need to move just over here because this person's going to hit you. You know, he knows exactly where you're at. So our eyes have to be on him in order to see all of this taking place and where we need to be. We can do our thing if we want to. We can use that free will. You know, we can just go off doing our own show if we want to, you know. And like I said, others will get hurt as well as yourself. Personally, I did see that happen, and it actually happened to me when I was a freshman in high school. And I don't know where my mind went, but at one point I had my trombone, you know, and I'm supposed to march forward. I marched backwards. So there's an upperclassman behind me, and I caused him to trip, and both of our horns went flying, you know. And it's no fun when $1,000 horns go flying across pavement. So, you know, it's it kind of made some people angry, but I mean, that's what happens when we're not focused. You know, when we're not focused, we get hurt, and those around us get hurt. But you know, in thinking of it like that, if you see the whole picture, it's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful picture of a tapestry of all the different people, all the different parts working in sync with others, because God is the conductor. God knows each part. So, you know, I just wanted to share that today, because, you know, it's been on my mind, because there's so much going on with everybody, you know, panicking, and you have people that are just kind of giving over to that, and they're just reacting out of fear, which causes anger on their part. It causes anger with the person that they're dealing with, and it causes some people to be depressed. It causes all kinds of things, because we've taken our eyes off of God and what His plan is for us, and to be that light in a dark world. And it doesn't matter what's going on; He's still there, and He knows what's going on. He knows where we're at. So we can't blame the circumstances, because that's not where our focus should be.